Nick Maruchak joins us from MKI Legal. G'day, Nick. How you going?
G'day, Bowie.
Yeah,
I'm
good to see you. Now, last week we stumbled into this area of expertise of yours that's a big part of your operation and of your professional life, the prenuptial, which in its full legal nomenclature is?
Binding financial agreement.
And it's a big thing you do. And can I say, listeners, Nick Maruchak offers the cheapest binding financial agreement, the prenup, in
Australia.
In Australia.
Yep. So we...
so that means you'll be busy.
Yeah, so these things can be very expensive. So what they are, they're basically a contract between a romantic couple on how to divide everything when you separate. You can do them at any stage, before the relationship, during, or even after you've separated. And so the purpose of them is to protect your assets and also determine how liabilities will be divided. So these things get really expensive. You speak to a family lawyer and they charge a heap for them. My friend, who I couldn't advise because I knew the couple that was separating, so I couldn't help my mate out.
Yeah.
And I say, can't help, mate. You have to go somewhere else. And he went somewhere else, and his lawyer was charged $10,000. And that's just not uncommon for $10,000 for these things. And the average price, I say, is $5,000. And lawyers charge on time, so you never know up front what's going to cost. And so we have a website called splitwise.com.au. So
Splitwise?
Splitwise, yes.
It's like drink-wise, water-wise, but split-wise.
Split everything wisely.
I like it.
There is another app out there that's got a similar name. So go to the .com.au one. And we have the cheapest in Australia. So we started at 1,000 plus GST, which is like 80% cheaper. We raise them a little bit now to 1,500, but 6PR listeners can get it for the original price. And the reason we raise it because we just got too much demand, and we had to and we're just going to streamline the tech a little bit more and then drop it down again.
So it feels like an American concept, but in actual fact, here in Australia, you would recommend it for. Tell me who uses it. So people who may be going around for the second time, it's to do with the what's the word? The ratio of assets as to which partner has potentially more assets at the start of the relationship. Tell me who should probably get a prenup. Yeah,
so the demand for prenups is going up. Every year they're just going up, and that's because house prices are going up, and also the baby boomers are passing on and leaving big inheritance to kids. So people want to protect their houses, their super, and their inheritance. So it's not just a tool for the rich anymore. A lot more ordinary people are doing it. So if you got divorced once and you lost half your stuff once, you need a prenup in the second relationship, all right? You don't want to lose half again. So people in those categories definitely are high users of this product. And it also protects the kids from the first relationship as well, because you don't want to have that argument between the kids and the step parent when all separates. So that's this way you can look after your kids and also decide a fair split with your new partner.
If there's an imbalance or a clear understanding of what the assets are going in to the second, even the first relationship, going in the relationship, that's a good point because it provides clarity. Who else should consider a prenup, Nick?
Yep. So if your parents, for example, giving you a loan, the best way to protect that loan, for example, to buy the house, is through a prenup. A loan agreement is just not going to cut it because the court can go through that. If you're expecting an inheritance, if you've got an inheritance, you want to protect that, get a prenup. So any situation where you have a bit more than the other person is a good way to is a good example to get a prenup. And you can decide what you do. You don't have to divide everything. You can kind of go, well, I just want to quarantine these assets, right? So I just want to protect my inheritance, my house. Everything else will divide according to law. So you can be as flexible as you want. You guys are in control. You can decide a cutoff date. So say if we have kids, we cut it off. Or you can decide how you split it as well. A lot of people do division based on contributions. So if I put more into the house than you do, I'll get more out. So different things you can do. There is a safety net as well, so don't worry too much. The thing with prenups is you can do an unfair deal if you want, because it removes the court from the process. The family court is not involved. It's both of you, and that's why you both need to get independent legal advice.
So say that to me again. You can. You said you used the phrase unfair deal. What does that mean?
All right. So if you go to court, a judge is always going to divide things equitably, right? And that's the way the system is. But so the idea of the prenup is you remove the jurisdiction of the court. You say the court get out. We're deciding.
When it comes to these assets,
Yep.
we've decided.
We've decided.
So joint co-signatories.
Both need legal advice.
Okay.
And that's why I need the advice. So everyone knows fully upfront what they're doing and they know the risks and all that stuff. So you can do unfair deals if you want. I'm not saying you do an unfair deal, but there is these safety nets, right? So a prenup will hold up pretty well, unless, say, if you have a child of the relationship and you're in big financial hardship, then a prenup can be set aside, right? So there is this safety net for significant situations like that. So,
so say someone comes to see Nick Maruchak at MKI Legal and go through the process with you. The two people are in love and romantically involved, as you say, a romantic partnership. Nick, they decide on a prenup and it goes. You get it signed off and it sits there until such time as there potentially maybe a division of assets further or a relationship breakup further down the track. Where does the Form 10 come in and the no fault divorce system come in? Does the prenup put that to one side? Does it override it?
Yep. So a prenup will become effective when you separate. So you can't enforce a prenup unless you separate. So when, at the time of separation, you kind of sign a declaration, say we've separated now, and then you enforce the prenup. And it has the same effect as the consent orders, that Form 11 that's lodged with the court. And that has the same stamp duty exemptions, right? Because if you're transferring the joint house to one person, you don't pay stamp duty with a prenup and also with consent orders. So it kicks in when you separate.
So say, and again, I find this area very interesting. If your circumstance changes after you sign the prenup, so one of the partners, so she gets a great job, she ends up working in the Prime Minister's office, earns 3 times the amount of money she thought she was going to, and her superannuation assets go up 3 times more than what they thought. Can a prenup accommodate that, or will that then be taken into account during the Form 10 process?
Yeah, so prenup can you can have a prenup that covers all the assets you have now and in the future, and in that case, yes, it will still be binding. It'll cover everything, right? So in that case, and that's one of the things you have to take into account in prenup, because this thing could be last for 20 years. So you have someone in a strong financial position now that wants to divide everything that's favorable to them. One thing we have to take into account as well: what happens if your fortunes change, right? Yes. And the script is flipped. Then you're still bound by this division, which might be unfair, say, if you lose money in 20 years' time. So these are things you have to, it's not something you do lightly. We go through all those different scenarios, and that's where people can make decisions. Sometimes if I get someone who's got less earning power than the other person, but they're coming out of that first relationship, they want to protect the house, then maybe in that case I go, look, let's do a prenup just to cover this house, and everything else we divide according to law, and that would be more advantageous to you. Sometimes, so it depends on the scenario of the person, and you can be as flexible as you want. Because what you can do with a prenup is you can actually say, you can bring the family court into certain assets. So you can carve certain assets out, and the rest will be divided, or you can just cover everything. Go, everything we acquire now and in the future, all future assets, no matter what we own, when we separate, is divided in this way. If
you've got any questions about prenups or binding financial agreements, arrangements, give Nick a call today, 133882. And I guess the other part of that is the estate and the will, isn't it?
So prenup binds the estate, right? So you can enforce, your estate can enforce the prenup, but you should also get a will just to complement it as well.
Does the prenup ever create animosity during the drawing up of the prenup? Does people go, I went in this to get some clarity and in good faith, but it's not looking good?
Well, so you start a deal, and then the other person has to get legal advice. So when they get legal advice, a lawyer will tell them, is this a good deal? Is this not a bad deal? And sometimes when they get that advice, they might go back and change a few things. But generally, most people on the same page. Like I've had a prenup the other day where this person was getting a really unfair deal. I told him not to sign it. Told him he's not getting, and and he just thinks about it. He's like, no, I want it, and that's what he's going to do. So,
yeah, okay. So still an opt-in, isn't it? Very much an opt-in. If you'd like to speak to Nick Maruchak, you can, 133882. Any legal advice or you would like, Rob says, do you have a prenup with your special friend? No, Rob, but thank you for asking. I refer to my special friend on occasion. Rob, you're funny. Anything you like. Yeah, as you would have heard with talking to Nick each and every week on a Thursday, Nick's very good on wills in particular, estates, powers of attorney, prenups, as you've heard. He's an absolute expert on those. They're cheapest in Australia. But if you have any queries, please give us a call, 133882. And the good thing about Nick that we really enjoy about his time here on 6PR is if you can't sort things out first and foremost. He'll follow things up for you. 16 and a half minutes to 11. More of Nick Maruchek after these. Brett says, who will win the first test? Australia, yes. I'll put you down as a yes, Brett. And Cal says, no, Australia will not win the first test. It'll be an ambush by the Poms. Sorry, but I'm a natural pessimist. Ha. Thanks for the great show. Thank you, Cal. Always good to hear from you. Let's go to the phones. Nick Maruchek from MKI Legal is with us at 13 minutes to 11. Hi, Monica.
Good morning. How are we both?
Good, thank you. How can we help?
Good. I'm just asking for some advice. Back in March, I was travelling to Indonesia and I was involved in a motor scooter accident, which has seen me unable to return to work so far until I'm 100% fit as I do FIFO. I'm wanting to know if I can sue the driver of the bike. He was an Australian. We were travelling together on his travel insurance out here in Australia.
So his.
Sorry for my wording.
No, that's all right. I won't cut across Nick here. But was the person travelling with you? Was they your mate or your friend or your partner? Were they?
Yes, with my friend. Yes.
Okay, all right. That's unusual, Nick.
Okay, and would travel insurance cover that, Monica? Because that's the easiest route. But I imagine
my travel insurance doesn't cover any of the medical expenses I've had, and it will pay up to an average of $17,000 for what I've missed out on work. But my issue is I've missed out on roughly $80,000 and my super and my holidays. So I'm just wondering if there's an avenue available.
Okay, so complex question, and this is I'll give you my initial thoughts. I think possibly, because what you've got is this person, the driver, is an Australian citizen. So one option possibly available to you is you sue in Australian courts, and then you apply Indonesian law, because at the time the Indonesian law is what covers you. And so the courts can apply the Indonesian law, and provided that he was at fault and he was driving negligently, driving really careless, then there is an avenue there. So the court will apply Indonesian law and award you damages here. So if he's based here, that might be the way to go. I would speak to a personal injury lawyer to discuss that with them. So a lot of the personal injury lawyers do no win, no fee. Have you spoken to anyone about that?
As soon as I said Indonesia, everyone said, can't help you, that's not our field. So I was lost as to where I should go to speak to someone. So I'm happy to pay for the consultation, but I just don't know where to go.
Okay, so I've done a little bit of a quick look up, and there is a law firm called Brand Solicitors who do have a bit of an article on this topic. They're based in West Perth, so I would try them, because they do have something on there. Because it will be hard to find a lawyer who's done this because it is complex, but the courts can and often do apply foreign law when making a decision. So as long as he's based in Australia and you can serve him, then you can start that process. I would just try Brand Solicitors. I don't know them, don't have any affiliation with them, but they do have an article on this topic, and I did have a quick look. So that might be the way to go.
I was just asking for advice, and I will use that one that you've given me. Thank you so very much.
Thanks, Monica. Monica, are you still getting on with the person you were travelling with? Is it amicable?
Yeah, of course we are. Yes, definitely.
Yeah, okay. All right, no worries. It's a very unusual case. Thank you, Monica. Thank you. Yeah. Good luck, Monica. Let us know how you go, hey?
Because he might have his own insurance.
Yeah.
That might cover him, maybe.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Right?
I think Monica was referring to that as well.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nick. Good advice. Let us know the update, Monica. Thanks. G'day, Brad.
Oh, Simon, Nick, how you going? Thanks, guys, for taking the call.
Yeah,
I've got a bit of an issue at the moment with a neighbour she's quite insular. She's just lost her husband. She has a will that they've dug up from 2002. They were a de facto couple certainly before that. And he's written her into the will saying, you can have X amount of dollars, which is a pretty tiny amount considering. But now that he's passed away after a long battle with dementia, and she was looking after him for the term, the son, who I've certainly never seen, hasn't been on the scene, his name is on the will. So he's now saying, here's your amount of money, but I want the balance of the house and the fund supporting you. Off you go. I thought Surely that can't be right.
No. So
They've been a de facto for a long time. Then they got married because he started to get dementia. So now they're saying, well, the marriage is not legal because you married him while he had dementia. I said, it doesn't matter. I mean, you've been a de facto couple. There's not a lot of difference, really, surely.
Yeah, so when he's named in the will, he's the executor. I'd imagine he's the person that has to go and apply for probate. Is that his role?
No, he has just been named in the will to get the balance of the estate. She was entitled to X amount of dollars, which, as I said, wasn't much. So now he's basically wanting to turf her out of the house, sell the property, keep the balance of the monies that his super fund and all that sort of stuff, and give her a little bit of money and chill off. She has got a lawyer, but she's, as I say, she's very quiet. She doesn't want to do. She's just relying on what the lawyer's telling her, basically saying, we'll give a deed of arrangement and we'll try and sort it out that way if they'll accept that. Surely that's not good enough.
Yeah, so
being his wife and being a de facto couple for the last 25, 26, 27 years, and now she's entitled to a small amount of money, so someone can come and just say, sorry, I'm going to take that. That's what's written in the will, so bad luck.
Yeah, so so there's a few things going on. One is who the executor is. That person will have control and is the figurehead that's responsible for doing all the administrative stuff for the will. Some person, the son can possibly be the executor and also a beneficiary. The other issue is, so you have to follow the terms of the will exactly how they are. The executor doesn't have any choice to change it. If the terms of the will are unfair to this de facto couple, the de facto wife, she has the right to challenge the will within 6 months of probate being issued, so that there is that safety net if a will is unfair. So do you know if she's getting an unfair deal in the will and the son just wants to kind of enforce that, or if she's getting a great deal under the will and the son wants to change it?
Will, and the son just wants to move in and take the assets and the balance of the monies, give her payout, which is not much. You can't live on that for more than a year or so, and move on. And I thought, surely that can't be right. It was written in 2002. The will was written in 2002, and now she's just buried the poor bloke, and she's got nothing.
Yeah, so it sounds like if she's getting an unfair deal, she'll have to take steps to challenge the will and then go through the Supreme Court, and the court will have to decide how much she should get. And all of what you're saying is the stuff the court takes into account and balances everyone's competing interests. And so the process of going through this can be expensive. Some lawyers will do pay at the end arrangements, but if you take this all the way to trial, there can be costs. A lot of the money can be chewed up in legal fees. So that's why you try and settle this in a way that works for everyone by doing a deed of family arrangement. So it is a bit of a messy situation, and it sounds like she's got she needs a lawyer. So yeah, it's highly complex situation.
Thanks, Brad. Sorry, Dave. No, that's Brad, wasn't it?
No, Brad.
Yeah, thanks, Brad. Appreciate that, mate. Let us know how you go. G'day, David.
Hey, fellas, how are we?
G'day, mate. Good, thank you.
Just a quick one, mate. I'm not the healthiest. My wife and I are both in our 50s. We've got wills. Everything's been set up. We have an organisation that looks after everything. I'm not the healthiest. One thing that worries me is when we go, both the kids will get the money on both sides. Is what happens if they move on fairly quick? And we are talking a lot of money. That the kids, how do we can they have a prenup, or can we put something in place for them as a prenup for them to protect themselves?
Up front? Yeah, so if the kids are in a relationship and they're obviously over 18, then you can ask your children to get a prenup to cover any potential inheritance. So that would protect, that would ensure the inheritance stays and is not chewed up in a divorce. So yes, that's a good way of doing it.
Great question, Dave.
Yeah. Another way of doing it is in your wills. Sometimes you can set up, you can delay the payment a little bit, so until they're 25 or 30, or you can set up something a bit more complicated like a testamentary trust, right? So for each of your kids, a trust set up. These mechanisms make it a little bit harder for the partner to challenge it, but they're not foolproof, right? So the family court can always go past the trust, and it all depends on who controls the trust. So the kid controls the trust, the family court will go through it. So the best way is get each of the kids to get a prenup, And it could be the most simplest prenup in the world. Just says any inheritance is quarantine is mine. So when you pass, the kids get the money, keep it in a separate account. And if it's done correctly, that's the safest way. So
yeah, great call, Dave. Well done. This is a very interesting topic, isn't it? If it's okay, do you reckon, Nick, you might be able to speak to Mark from Canning Vale as you leave? Would that be okay? He's
Yeah,
got a
absolutely.
Question about his partner moving back into the home after separation. Thanks, Mark. I'll get Nick to have a chat to you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Nick, well done, mate. Thank you very much. And if people do want to have a look at your prenup portal at MKI Legal, it's called Splitwise.
Yep. We have another website called splitwise.com.au. So go there and
make yourself known.
Yeah.
And let Nick know if you're a 6PR listener.
Yeah.
Thanks, mate.
Deal.
Good on you. All right. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, Bowie.
Cheers. Thank you.